this video, we're going to talk about interpreting, or predicting rather, from circle graphs or pie charts, however you want to call it. So, this question here says, based on the net on the circle graph, how many of the next 25 people will like, and then they've got the same categories as the circle graph. So, first things first. In order to do this, to be able to predict how many people, we've got to use something that we have used before. You're going to have on top how many of that category or topic, however you want to call it, and on the bottom you want the total. And then it's going to be times the amount predicting for. So, it is how many of that category that you're trying to predict for over the total of how many there just are in general times the amount that you are predicting for. So, first things first is we need a total. Because right now I don't have the total number of people in this circle graph. So if I add everything up, which I would totally use a calculator for. In fact, it is 6 in the morning. I am going to use a calculator. So if I add up, so I'm adding romantic, which is 7, sci-fi and fantasy, which is 27, action, which is 10, horror, which is 36, and comedy, which is 20. When I add all that up, I get a nice 100. It is not always 100, but it is in this case. So, my total is 100. So, for action we have 10, my total is 100, and it's going to be times the amount that we are predicting for is 25. If I multiply that all together, 10 times 100, 10 divided by 100 times 25, I get 2.5. So we're going to say about 3. If you go either way, you could say 2. I'm rounding up to 3. Horror. Okay. Horror is 36 over 100 times, again, we're predicting for 25. So, 36 divided by 100 times 25 is 9. So, I'm going to say about 9. Honestly, you could probably just leave that at 9. You don't need to say the about because we're not rounding. Comedy. Look at the comedy category. It's going to be 20 over 100 times 25. For this one, we're going to get 5. Romantic is 7 over 100 times 25 is 1.75. So I'm going to say about 2. So we're going to round for that one. And then last but not least, sci-fi and fantasy is going to be 27 over 100 times 25, which is 6.25. So it is about 6. So this whole thing, if they ask you to predict based on a graph, what you've got to do is you've got to on top how many of that category they're asking you to find, so whatever it says on the graph. The bottom is the total amount in the graph times the amount that you are going to be predicting for. So that is how it would predict based off of a circle graph. The same concept though applies to any kind of graph that you're predicting for. That same formula works.